Here we go.
Has Rolf got insane?
Alright, what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for Four Nights of Apocalypse Chapter 23. Had a break last week, but we're back again this chapter. Not like it was crazy on one hand, but then not that crazy on the other hand. Also, before I really get into it, in case you hear any weird noise in the background, there's nothing crazy happening. I just currently am cat sitting right now, so yeah, or more like kitten sitting. So if you have a kitten, you know how that is. So he's gonna be running around, so there's not much I can do about that. But anyway, this chapter starts with we get to finally see more about Arthur, which is really important because I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people have been speculating on, as much as we've wanted to see for a really long time. Just more stuff about Arthur. And honestly, the thing with Arthur is kind of weird because like through this chapter, he kind of feels like really similar to how he used to be, but definitely like different. Like and more so different in terms of he just feels off. And you can definitely really see it throughout this chapter. Now, in the beginning, he is talking to Ironside about, his failure and that he can't excuse it, even if it is, a child, or even if it is like one of the four nights of the apocalypse. And Ironside really does show how duty bound he is to Arthur and saying, like, you can punish me any way you see fit. And this is when Arthur like takes that initiative and goes like, he dials it up. Like I thought Arthur was going crazy when he did this, like this full on, just completely, stabbed, impaled straight through Ironside. There's like little chaos monsters eating his arms and legs. Like it was really crazy. And like even Arthur's face, he looks absolutely sinister while he was doing this. Like it really reminded me of I know lots of other animes have done the one or the like darker eyes, but I always think of like a Sasuke type vibe, or like a Ichigo when he undergoes his hollowification. Like I think of those kind of things too, and I see like the really dark evilish eyes. And while he has Ironside here, he does go over like what his entire plan is, or not really his entire plan, but more so what his goal is. And a lot of us could probably already assume this, but from the ancient past all the way to like the Holy War, humans, as he said, have always been caught in the crossfire of like other creatures' wars, or humans are a lot of times are collateral damage, just because out of the existent races in Seven Deadly Sins, humans seem to be innately the weakest. Like just they have like the lowest potential of being strong in comparison to the other ones. So Arthur's kind of tired of that happening to humans, so he wants to make a kingdom where none of that bad stuff can happen to humans, which is a noble thing indeed. But I'm assuming the way he's going to go about it is going to be terrible. So, and he's just like casually explaining this entire plan while Ironside is essentially like what it looks like being tortured. And then once he stops, it's almost as if nothing had ever happened to him in the first place. And it's really funny because if you recall back to the very ending of Seven Deadly Sins, slight spoilers if you're not fully caught up to the anime or the manga, if you're not like familiar with the end, just to give you a chance. But in the ending, when Arthur was experiencing his fight with Kath, or when he was first getting used to his chaos abilities, something similar would happen where all this craziness would happen, and then out of nowhere it would just be over with, or it would just be done. So it's just kind of weird how the nature of the chaos power works. And even at the end of it, Arthur's laughing, like he's having like he's joking around, like, yeah, I took all that poison out of you. So it's almost like this horrible torture experience actually did do a good thing for Ironside. And then the side part for the poison, the fact that Nansen's poison was still affecting Ironside like that far afterward, because it felt like Percival got knocked out for a little bit and was fine. Granted, Nansen's probably used a much stronger dosage of it on Ironside, seeing as how the situation was. But the fact that Ironside was still affected by Nansen's poison means that Nansen has like a lot. Like Nansen is potentially one of the more dangerous people in the group. We also do get a bit more on the lore of the whole situation of what's going on, in saying that basically Arthur's group is always being thwarted because they don't have the vision. And to me, what I feel like this means is I'm assuming there's probably a character that is like a oracle of sorts that can tell the future, because even Sin seems to know a lot of things that are going to happen before they actually happen. So I'm assuming that's probably what they're trying to counteract. and then Ironside is saying he's going to retrieve it, but Arthur is like, no, they're going to be looking out for that, so I want you to go find my bride instead. I'm not for sure what this could potentially mean. Like I've said before in past videos, I'm not the most experienced on Arthurian lore, so I don't know like what the significance of the wife of the actual wife of King Arthur is. If anybody does know, I'd love to hear about that in the comments. But as for me, I don't know what that could mean for the the future of the series. After that, it does flash back to Sistania. It is the morning now after that horrible night is over, and honestly, this glimpse or the second half of the chapter, I guess I should call it, reminds me a lot of the wrap up chapter for the Echo Gorge, where it's kind of just like, it's the happy ending, so to speak, and them getting ready to depart on like the next leg of their adventure to Leonis, essentially. We do also get Nanson's trying to ask Sin again exactly what those forest friends were and where they are, to which Sin does dodge the question. There also is a small moment between like Percival and Annie's dad, where he's basically just thanking Percival for helping them out, and that he is sorry that he had to go against his dad, and that we do get small bits of information about Arthur as well as Ironside in the past, because they're all in a band of knights together. Or I guess Ironside was part of Arthur's band of knights in the past, and this is where Annie's mom comes into play, because she was also part of that same group. We get the flash picture, and it's cool because we get to see like Arthur, Merlin, Varghese, Ironside, as well as we also get to see Pelgard off to the side. He's kind of cut out of there a little bit, but I was pumped up to see Pelgard. He's kind of, I know he hasn't been shown a lot, but he's like low-key one of my more favorite people in the series for like literally no reason. I really feel like I don't have a reason for me to like him as much as I do. But yeah, he was in the shot too, as well as oh, what's the samurai guy's name? I forget his name. Nanashi? I think his name was Nanashi. I could be wrong, but he was also in the shot too, which makes me think that Nakaba has not forgot about him, and that he might also make a reappearance in the Four Knights of Apocalypse, because I kind of really wanted to see more of him in the Seven Deadly Sins, but he really didn't get to do much. Like, I mean, he did train Arthur, and he faced off against a couple red and gray demons, but I mean, that's like nothing crazy. I really wanted to see him like have his own shine, so hopefully we get to see more of him in the future too. But the fact that we learned that Ironside wasn't necessarily always how he was, and the fact that he was like a noble, like upstanding, like a really good person overall, so how he is now is very like a stark contrast to how he used to be. And I feel like this definitely does tie in hand to what Ironside was saying earlier in the series, that like Varghese took something very important from him, and I feel like whatever that was is what probably like set all this in motion to him being how he is now, whatever that could be, whether it could be Percival or like his wife or some important relic to him. I feel like it's either Percival or his wife. I feel like it's something along those lines that made him change how he was entirely. It could be something else, but that's just what I think. And then we also do get Annie appearing, getting ready for her adventure. She's getting ready to take off on her own. I will say, this exact iteration of Annie, I do prefer this appearance as to her character debut, or after she got damaged by Ironside. I feel like this one looks the most like cool to me, just because of how like overly casual it is, and not overly like done up or overly fan service. I kind of like this because it's like, it's not really in the middle, it's just real casual. And I did kind of like the umbrella, like the rapier being inside of an umbrella, because it's kind of like the whole hidden weapon type deal, which is always cool to see. But the fact that it's just out isn't really a big deal. And then we do get, like I said, very similar to the Echo Gorge, Annie getting ready to take off and leave, saying her goodbyes to her dad. She was under the impression that he was trying to stop her from going, but he just wants her to go with Percival and his group, which is all well and good because she wants to go with them as well. The only thing that was kind of weird during the whole like Annie leaving thing was like Sin was kind of just sitting there on that last page, just staring at them with the little 3 dots. So it's like what is Sin exactly thinking in this moment? Which is kind of just, I don't know, it just makes Sin seem more and more sus. So as you can see, like I was saying earlier, he just will not leave me alone. I can't tell if you guys have been able to hear him, but he's just a kitten sitting. But anyway, Sin was being super sus, so it doesn't make him look good in terms of like, I feel like, as we've all have speculated, that there's way more to Sin's character. But aside from that, the chapter was really dope. It was a good transition chapter, as well as like in the beginning we got some cool info about Arthur, and just to kind of see him and where he is on his headspace is always cool to see. Now, it's weird because the whole chaos aspect, it does make Arthur look evil. Evil! But at the same time, he's not completely bad either. So like, it just makes you wonder like where they're gonna go for Arthur in the future. Hopefully we get more of him, or maybe we'll get more information on what this whole bride thing is. Like, I don't know if Arthur finding a bride will like change exactly how he is. Like I said earlier, I really, if anybody knows more about this in the Arthurian lore, please let me know, because I am not super versed on it my own self, and I'm very curious. But aside from that, I give the chapter probably like, it was a solid 7 out of 10. You know, decent information. Got to see Arthur again, but nothing too crazy just because of them leaving. Hopefully after this we can proceed to Leonis, because like I'm saying, I want to get there because I want to see Meliodas. That's like the main thing I want to see. But you know, that's just me. So aside from that, let me know how you guys feel about the chapter down below in the comments. Make sure you guys like the video as well. Subscribe to the channel for more Fortnite Apocalypse content. And like I always say, I am very grateful for the recent support I've been getting on this series. So you guys are awesome for that. Aside from that, I will see you all in my next video.